going on, guys? Hey, yeah, I got a new mouse. Again, I got a mouse and a keyboard. Yay. But you can actually, I'm pretty sure my last live stream I was using the mouse and the keyboard. But like I was going off between the PS1 and the mouse and keyboard, trying to break a record. But, that didn't work out. So in this episode, not episode, video, I just wanted to, so when I was younger, I had a big imagination. Okay, a big imagination. Now I still do, but it's probably not as big. Just because, I mean, I still come up with like crazy ideas, like weird movie things ideas, but I just don't feel like playing them, doing them as much. I don't know. But when I was younger, I'd come up with these ideas and just make up my suit, just imagine my suit, because if you guys have seen my room, I have so many superhero posters, like crazy, and I have a whole bunch of comics, like I have Doctor Strange, Black Panther. Those are really the only two other superheroes posters that I have. And then I also have this guy, it's the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. I have Green Arrow, or Arrow, from the MCW show. MCW, wait. Is it MCW TV show or MC? I don't know. Tell me in the comments, because I really want to know. Or I'll just look on Netflix. Where is it? So I have a Spider-Man one. It's a Spider-Man home. Oh, he has the Decathlon jacket on. And for some reason he looks like sideways. Like when I bought him, he looks sideways, or maybe I just got ripped off when I bought him. But he always has been looking sideways. Might have just been the springs. Sorry, I'm trying to fix this on a video, but gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, it is. Okay, so I got him straight, his head straight. Spider-Man Homecoming with a Decathlon jacket. He has 2 headphones. Actually, my lamp, my mom painted it. And it's like the city, New York City, like around it and stuff. And if you roll back to like one of my first videos, my setup was way different. I didn't have a desk, so I lay it on my bed with blankets behind it, so it'd sit up. And here, I'll take this off the wall. This is actually a real comic, but it's a poster version, and I have this hanging up right here. Hopefully it doesn't fall. Oh, okay, good. Got it up again. So yeah, that's really just to get you a heads up about this video. And I'm just going to be talking with you. So, I have one TV show I made and movies, okay? So I'm going to start with my favorite movie series I made, and it was about, now not a lot of these, I don't even remember any of the names. None of these have names, or if they did, I forgot about it. But the first one was about a family of superheroes. The boy had, the youngest kid, he was like my age now, but I was only like 8 when I came up with this. And he had the power of speed. Then I got this one inspired from The Incredibles, where, and it's gonna be super weird. Remember, I was like 7 or 8 when I was making this up, and I didn't, like, logic wasn't a thing, okay? It just didn't make any sense. So, it was a big lightning storm outside. That's how they all got their powers. The kid, he got struck with lightning, and he just became really fast, like the Flash. Then, the youngest kid, he was a boy, and he was really young. He was like 7 or 8. I remember I made him just as old as I was at the time. But he was at school with his brother. His brother got struck by lightning, and so the kid just started running towards home to tell his parents. And while he was running towards home and the lightning goes crazy, apparently lightning broke open all the zoo cages. So all these animals were running down the road, coming at him. They all got on top, like they were all running over him, like a herd of them, and a lightning strike struck the back of it. It went through all of the animals, and then it hit him. It hit all the animals, and then like all the animals just went, like they just exploded and then imploded back into his body. Like they went, like an implode is like the opposite of like a explode. Like yeah, and it went into his body, and I don't know, it was weird. The wife, she had like the power to make force fields and could turn invisible. The dad, super strength. This is pretty much like The Incredibles. Like they just went on this fight and this like journey and stuff. It was weird. So that was the first movie I made. Don't remember what it was called. Then I made another one, or like that wasn't the first series I started with. But then I'm going from my favorite to least favorite. Now let me think. Okay, now I'm gonna go with this. It was like a ninja series I just got for Halloween. I didn't even wear it though. Like I got it for Halloween, but then I found a Spider-Man suit that I liked better, so I got that instead. And I wore that instead on Halloween. In this ninja costume, I put it. It's like where this old guy was a ninja and he was getting too old, but he could train, but he couldn't fight anymore. So then the kid came around and he like trained him because he was getting bullied and like beat up on the streets. He didn't know how to fight or defend himself. Then he got trained, and that was the first movie with him getting trained. The second one was him, but then they found like this kid and he needs to be fostered, and he wanted a kid, so he started fostering the kid, and he took him in, and when he got there, and then he eventually figured out that he was a ninja. Like apparently the ninja had been like going around, and he was like world famous or like city famous, like superheroes, and then he wanted to become that, so then he started training. Then they had a fight at the end together. They defeated somebody big. It was like this big ninja master or something. But they didn't defeat him. This brought on the next two movies was a part 1 and part 2. Like kind of like the Hunger Games. And at the end, the main hero, the first one that you meet in the first movie that got saved, he gets like totally demolished by him, and then the master comes in to protect them both because they were both really hurt. So the master comes in. The master, I had a weird mind when I was younger, so the master got murdered. Like he just died, and he died, and then I got up. Like I called the main character me. He got up. He grabbed the kid. But then the man like separated us far apart, and I escaped. I escaped, and I couldn't get the kid. So when I escaped, I was making a plan to get back. But in the middle of the plan, it cuts off, and that starts to part 1 and part 2. The next part is me going in there and then finding out that he was not mind controlled, but he was just totally like overpowered by him, and he wanted so much power. He wanted to be the king of everybody. And in that movie, you come in, you try to save him, but then you realize that happened. So they both kidnap you. You escape. Why am I calling him you? But I'm just gonna refer. He escapes. when he escapes, he comes back. And when he comes back, the kid, like, tricks him and makes him think that he's okay, and they start to escape. But then the headmastermind, like the main villain, comes over. They both start kidnapping you. They both get you, like, they both start fighting you, and you do a lot more damage because you've been training. Like, the time lapse between these are like, it's like a year, except for the part 1 and part 2. But and then at the end they eventually defeat you, and you get like put in this cage over lava, like you're about to get dropped. But then the kid kills the main master, and when he kills him, you're like, oh my gosh, you were just playing. Now get me out of here. And he was like, nope, he didn't get him out, and then it cut it off. And the next movie is you have to fight him. Like, you have to escape, and then he starts like taking over the world because he was trained by that guy within a year, and apparently he like trained him like crazy, and he was really good, and he was only like a 16-year-old. And then they go into a fight, but he couldn't fight him because he was just so sad that it was happening to him. So he's just getting defeated. And then he saw his wife, and he tried to kill his wife. So then he went like berserk, like crazy Super Saiyan, and he attacked him. He almost killed him, but he knew it was the wrong thing. So he kidnapped him, and once he kidnapped him, he just took him into custody, and like they put him in prison. And he was he wasn't 18, so he was in juvie, I guess. So yeah, that was the end of that story. But that was, now you have to keep in mind, every single one of my episodes were more than an hour long. I made sure they were, or movies where I made sure they were, because I would look at the time, and whatever time it was, I would make sure that it was the next hour before I stopped. So, yeah, so that's not all of them though, and I think since for time's sake, that's all I'm going to say for movies, but then I'm going to tell you about the TV show. I had 2 seasons. Every episode was more than 45 minutes long, not more. So I just went and saw Passengers the day before, so that got me thinking. Well, Passengers is a movie where they're on this spaceship, and they're going to another Earth, and then one guy wakes up in this pod, and when he wakes up, like, what is it, 50? No, not 50, like 100 years before he's supposed to. And then he wakes somebody else up, and she gets mad at him, and then they get in a fight, and they get back together, and then they die at the end because they died of old age on that ship, but on that ship, they made it, like, the best they could, like, it was a real world, and, yeah. So then everybody else woke up, and they got to Earth too. That got me thinking, what if they made it to Earth too? So, I made a show where they made it to Earth too. But I remember, like, they were on an airplane, and they were going through space. I don't know. But it crash landed on Earth too. And when it landed there, only like 10 of them lived. And those 10 people went together on this island, and they worked together and stuff, and they built a city. And then they got split into halves because one of them, the main character, which was me, he like wanted to stay together, but the other guy was like, if I'm not going to be the leader, then why not? And there was an equal vote, so they spread apart. And when they spread apart, like, when they were having this conversation, this earthquake happened, and it split open the Earth. That's, like, it didn't completely do it, it was just an earthquake, and it was, like, cracking the ground. And your best friend, you're running with your best friend outside, and your girlfriend, like, you guys are, like, best friends. So you have 2 best friends on there, one's a boy and one's a girl, and she is, like, your I keep on calling it my girlfriend. And then he falls in. You guys are like running away with the 5 people on your half. You guys are running away from the earthquake, and then your best friend, his dad was one of the people that lived, and he was on your guys' side, our side, so he almost fell in the crack. And when he was falling, he saved his dad, but he died. And he died, and then they were like wandering around, and then out of the crack, this goo thing came out, and it was like a blob. It could like shape shift, and it was all green though, like from the slime from Hotel Transylvania. But it could like speak to you, but it could only talk like telepathically. Like it would go like blah, 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 make random noises to everybody else. But to you, if he was talking to you, you would hear it in your mind what he was saying. So yeah, and then they were just wandering around, and then they find this bunker, and it went underground, and it was this whole city of people. And they all went mining, and then he got another friend, and all this stuff was happening for a really long time. And then the final episode of season 1, this spaceship comes over them. And remember, they left Earth 300 years ago. So they don't know what's changed on Earth. But this hovercraft thing, they're like, is that an alien? But then humans walk out. And they start freaking out. And everybody is transported back to the normal Earth. Everybody that wanted to go, your best friend went with you. Then the leader of that place, he came with you because he hasn't been to Earth. Because they tried it one other time and they thought it got lost in space, but it actually made it. That's where they came from. But they did that 200 years ago. So there was a 100-year gap. But on that island, you don't age. So whenever you landed there, you would stay that age. So you go on the ship, and they were flying back to Earth. And when they got back to Earth, everything, it was so different. Like, they had really tall buildings. Okay, so, yeah, when you get there, and then, like, within a week that you guys are there, you're, like, in this building that they made just for your guys to come back, and then to send more people there. And apparently they had, like, this huge, rocket ship that could fit 1 million people on it. And while they were launching it in that building, you and all the people that went back, it wasn't actually a lot, though, because a lot of people just wanted to stay there. It was about 30 or 40 of you guys, I'm just going to call you guys. They were in the building going up to the spaceship, because they were a part of the crew now, and it's only been a week, but they were going to go back because they knew the island. They knew it more than anything. It was really just like a big island. Like, it was smaller than the Earth, but it was bigger than the moon. But it looked like an island, really. So they were there, and when they were going up, like, an earthquakes thing sort of happened, and everything came crashing down. The building they were in, they were running down the building, but this one guy in the wheelchair, they were like bringing him down in the elevator, but the elevator got stuck while it was happening. So everybody else made it out of the house, even you and your now wife. The whole building, just like, I'm sorry I'm saying you, but I just have to. But the whole thing just comes crashing down. And it crashes down, and the man inside dies, and also the guy that was helping him get down dies too. So then that was the last episode I ever made. And that was the second episode of season 2. I don't know why I didn't continue it, but I just didn't. So, I guess that's the end. See you guys next time. Bye.